Hi, how's it going? I know I was just on earlier trying to catch up on my assignments. So tonight I am talking about skincare for dummies. And no, I'm not calling you guys dummies. So, if you don't know, I'm a civil engineer. I'm not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I am not in the healthcare field at all. I am a civil engineer. So if I can learn about skincare and how to take care of it, I'm pretty sure just about anybody can. Now, that's not to say there's not, I don't want to say it's complicated. There's a lot of different categories for skincare. But it's not overly difficult if you block it up and you put it, some really basic information on that. So first thing you want to look at as far as skincare is concerned, people get really overwhelmed with skincare, especially right now. There's so many products out there. You have the whole Korean beauty trend that's going on that has a bunch of steps, 10 or more steps in it. There's face masks and face wash and serums and moisturizers and all kinds of stuff. Where do you even begin, right? So the very first place you look at is you categorize your skin into, there's three basic categories. There's dry, normal, and then combination oily skin. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. So dry skin is going to be the kind of skin, and there's a lot of reasons why you might have dry skin, but where you can put a moisturizer on and your face is just going to suck that up. You may have, flakiness to your skin. It might be tight. Some of the reasons why you may have that, you may live in a really dry climate or cold and dry. Postmenopausal women tend to have pretty dry skin. There's a lot of medications that can cause your skin to dry out. Especially people that are on a lot of allergy medication or decongestants, and there's a lot of other ones that will cause you to have really dry skin. Normal skin is going to be really basic. You can pretty much try any of the fun new skincare stuff, and you can try anything and it's not really going to bother your skin. You don't have any real problems, but there is some nuances to that. And then combo oily skin, this is probably the one people have the hardest time finding skincare for. And I put it together saying combination oily skin, because for the most part, people that have oily skin, they are over treating it and it is causing it to be oily. Typically, you would be better off leaving your skin completely alone and using water, and your skin would be less oily than the skincare routine you're currently doing to it. And I've been in this category, so that's why I know. But most of the time, people that have oily skin really have combination skin. You'll have areas that are oily, but for the most part, you can get your skin, I promise, you can get your skin to the more normal end of that. And that's where I was. There's a lot of reasons why people have oily skin. And knowing why you have oily skin is one of the biggest things that will help you find a skincare routine that will work for you. People just think that oily skin, all you have to, you would use the stuff that's meant for teenagers, right? For acne, and that'll take care of it. And that's usually way too harsh for people that just have oily skin that aren't in that teenager phase. So some reasons why you would have oily skin, if you're in a hot and humid climate, if you're premenopausal, teenagers have a lot of oily skin. Men tend to have more oily skin. There are a lot of medical conditions also that will cause more oil production. And so really, if you look at those, you can kind of have two categories. Either your skin's going to be oily. Well, I'm going to take this back. Not so much oily, but people that say oily / acne prone, people that are acne prone aren't necessarily oily. They may think they are because they're getting acne. But you really have to look at why you're getting the acne. And acne typically goes into two categories. Either it's because you're not getting the dirt and pollutants off of your skin, and that would include makeup. So you're not cleansing your skin well enough, or it's hormonal, which is the category that most like premenopausal women and then teenagers are in. And those are different kinds of acne and need to be treated differently. Okay, so you have those basic areas. People with oily skin too have other issues, like with large pores. So typically, if you see someone complain about large pores, they may fall into that category. So we have the dry skin, normal skin, combination oily skin, and that's the basic. You can look at, targeted skincare for those three areas, but then you have a lot of even more specific skincare requirements than just that. And that's one of the reasons why people have such a hard time, because just putting it into those three categories is typically not enough for most people unless you're in that normal category. But a lot of times if you are either in the dry or in the oily combination area, there's not going to be a one-size-fit-all solution. And a lot of people will make you feel that way as far as skincare is concerned, that, hey, use this as for people with oily skin. Well, that's really not going to take care. If you're able to get something just doing that, then you're lucky, because I know my combination oily skin, which was hormonal based, I have Hashimoto's, so it's an autoimmune disorder where I have no thyroid, so I have complete thyroid replacement, and that really wreaks havoc on my hormones, right, and my metabolism. And so I've had a lot of issues with acne and oil production since I was diagnosed with that. And a lot of trial and error, because there are so many items on the market for oily skin, and it's hard to tell what's for dirt removal and what's for hormonal. But there's other kinds of specific skincare issues. So acne being one of them. Large pores, like I talked about, a lot of people with oily skin tend to deal with large pores also. Large pores, just having tired, dull-looking skin, having sensitive skin. These people tend to be on the dry side with dry skin. Sensitive skin will tend to go along with dry skin. Not always, but that tends to be the case. Needing anti-aging, it happens to all of us. Brightening, this is one I have too. I have, some sunspots. It's hereditary. My dad has these too. But having discoloration on your face is another skincare issue that a lot of people deal with. And then really just needing to get balanced. And that's a lot of the issue with people that are dealing with hormonal acne. It's really more of an issue of getting your skin balanced. So that's quite a few different areas. So I'm going to talk about just a few of them because I don't want to get too overwhelmed here. But I'm going to talk about pore reducing and balanced first, because like I said, a lot of people tend to deal with that, and this is on the oily end of the spectrum. There's probably more people that deal with acne and oily skin than everyone else. Probably the second biggest problem skin area would be dryness and sensitivity. So those are probably the two biggest ones I see. Pore reducing, probably my biggest recommendations for that is if you do not have a skincare routine and you have large pores, then you really need to talk to somebody about a skincare routine, or just look at what you have. If you don't have any, you want to start at least with washing your face twice a day. Because the biggest thing with large pores is you need to keep them clean. If you don't, you're going to get acne. Okay? Because those pores will trap everything you put on them. So the pollution from the air, all your makeup. If you're not really cleaning those pores out on a regular basis, you're going to get acne. So this is a skincare type that you're really going to want to look at detoxifying masks with charcoal, washing your face twice a day, but also after you wash, making sure to use a toner. Using a toner is probably the biggest step I think people with acne and large pore problems miss, and the easiest way to add something to your routine that'll make a really big difference. Again, getting those pores really squeaky clean really makes a difference. I would look for a toner that is not alcohol based. When I said that people that have oily skin really don't, it's because they're overstripping it. If you use products that have alcohol or really high acid contents regularly, several times a day, and several products, all with those in them, you will overstrip your skin and it will cause it to produce more oil in between the times that you're washing, and that's a vicious cycle. So you really want to look for a toner that's more gentle. Now that's not to say no acid, but make sure you're paying attention to how you're stacking those. So if you're using a wash with some sort of like glycolic or salicylic or some other acid that's listed on there, you don't want to follow that up with a toner that has acid and a mask that has all of that. You want to use just one. Don't overdo it. The other thing you want to make sure to do with large pores is to make sure you're regularly exfoliating. So this would be a good place if you just wash your face with just a regular wash that's meant for normal skin, maybe switching that out for something that has some exfoliation in it. A very light exfoliation. You don't want to be like scrubbing your face raw. Just something that has some little microbeads or something in it to really get that clean. Like I said, follow with a toner. And then you want to like deep exfoliate and detox probably once or twice a week. This is going to be the same for people that tend to have hormonal acne. You want to keep exfoliating. You want to mask or otherwise detoxify that skin a couple times a week. But with people with hormonal acne, the biggest thing you have to look at is light moisture. People think that with oily skin you don't need to moisturize, and that's not the case. Again, you don't want to strip it. But people that have hormonal acne, and you'll know this because they're not blackheads, they're more of the cystic type acne that takes a really long time to go away when you get it, that are very deep acne. You'll more want to use not so much a mechanical scrubbing exfoliation. You'll want to use more of the acid and chemical exfoliation on yours daily, in addition to a couple of times a week deep. But doing that, especially if you have balance issues for hormonal acne. I really have a hard time saying that, and I have it, so. Premenopause is horrible. In addition to have autoimmune disorders. You want to replace, when you're doing that chemical exfoliation, it will dry out your skin, and you need to replace that with some moisture, but it needs to be light moisture. This is where we can look at some of those trends like K-beauty, the Korean beauty routines, and look at adding a serum or looking at adding some other light, like gel to water type moisturizer that's not going to be really heavy and sit on your skin. The other thing you can look at is just using the serum in place of a moisturizer twice a day, and only adding moisturizer at night before you go to bed. So when you don't have all the other makeup or other items on your skin. This would be a good time to use something that's still a light moisturizer, but like the gel to water type moisturizer, or even a face oil. That has been really popular in the past, and it seems counterintuitive to put an oil on your skin when you have oily skin, but especially if you're gonna have a bare face, and we're talking about just a drop or two on wet skin, wet hands, and just putting that around and letting it absorb to your skin will keep your skin happier and not so overproducing. It does take a few weeks for this to work out. And a lot of people tend to see more acne during this transition time because it takes 20 to 30 days for acne to go through its whole cycle. So it really can take up to a month to see a lot of the changes, but your skin will still feel better in the meantime. You'll see a few spots, but you won't be getting as much of the crazy unevenness as you would get before. Now again, we have a lot of other ones. I said men tend to have oily skin. They also have thicker skin, so they need a lot more exfoliation too. They would be more like in the pore reducing category using those type of products. So if you would like some more in-depth information specifically for you, again, there's about 9 different categories, especially if you have specific issues with your skin that you would like to discuss. Feel free to send me a message on Messenger, and I can go and do a skin reading for you and give you a little bit more information on your specific skin type. Typically, I have folks pick 2 different areas out of 9 different categories that they feel their skin fits into the best. And then I can do everything. If you already have a skin routine, I can maybe tell you where you can add a little bit to it to maybe enhance it for those problem areas. Or if you're looking for a whole new skin routine, I can give you information on that too. What steps you can put in and what kind of products you would like for that. So if you would like a specific skin reading, please reach out to me, and I will get with you and let you know what kind of products to use. Thanks. Bye.